Hello everybody. I'm making this video to tell you about something I've been doing lately that has really helped me in my guitar improvement. I'm calling it project-based guitar practice. So just a little backstory, I've recently moved across the country and as I've been in flux, my guitar playing has really taken a back seat. I wanted to play, but every time I picked up my guitar, there was no there because I was so out of my routine. So I would procrastinate, start something but not finish it, and get tired of playing the same old thing over and over again. And I started to realize it was the same things that I had done for years, but now amplified in this period of flux. So I decided to try and create a process that let me improve consistently, reliably, and with low friction. And it would need a few things. It would need to be simple and intuitive to match my lack of stability. It would need clear next steps so I can just jump in without thinking about where I left off. It would need no strict daily time frames, but flexibility instead. And it would need to minimize distraction so I can just stick with what I'm working on instead of following the next shiny thing. And this process works. I've been doing it for a while and I'm realizing it isn't just helpful in periods of flux, but I think for all guitarists floundering in procrastination and a lack of direction. So what are the benefits then of this project-based guitar practice? I think a lot of common issues for floundering guitarists are resolved by projects. Like, do you feel like you lack direction? Or do you feel like you're not getting anywhere even when you practice? Or do you feel like there's a disconnect between what you're practicing and how it's actually useful? Because I find projects fix all of these problems. And I don't mean vague goals or just getting the gist either. I mean baking projects as outcomes into your practice routine. Like a specific set of steps to create a concrete, tangible artifact. So what do I mean by that, a concrete, tangible artifact? I mean like a deliverable. Like they are often videos or audio or written stuff like maybe a chord chart or a lead sheet or something like that. And these become the outcome of your practice time. So when you pick up your guitar to make progress, you're actively working toward these outcomes that will clearly demonstrate if you have actually learned anything or not. I know it sounds intense, but it's really not. I find it's too easy to work on something for a bit, get distracted, never come back to it, and eventually forget it entirely. And making projects the outcome of your learning means you don't get to kind of know something. It means you either learned it and can do it well enough to create a concrete, tangible artifact, or you didn't. So let's compare this to this idea to a traditional practice routine. A lot of practice routines kind of look like this. It'll be 5 minutes, warm up with scales. 20 minutes, work on repertoire. 10 minutes, go over theory, or something like this. These are vague goals, and I've tried this kind of thing a bunch of times, and it's never worked for me. It's hard to know what kind of progress I'm making if there aren't any concrete deliverables. And even if I meticulously measure all the progress and keep track, I've often felt a general sense of now whatness at the end of it. Like, at what point do you stop working on a piece of repertoire, right? I've been guilty of this a million times, getting 75% of the way there with a song and never really nailing it because good enough is good enough. But if my practice is about creating projects, there are now definite parameters to each concept, technique, or a piece of repertoire. So instead of working on a piece of repertoire, I will, for example, record a video of myself playing along with the track. And I'll benefit from this, producing a video of me playing along with the track, for a number of reasons. One thing is there's a definite start and end. So this keeps the learning tightly focused, so I don't wander around in too many directions, not really making any progress in any of them. I get a variable level of difficulty that I can do. I can try to be exact, or I can do an easier but still complete approximation. Either way, it'll still be a complete project, and as long as I'm on the outskirts of my ability, then I'm still making progress. I get a sense of accomplishment and forward momentum for, I've done all these steps and then I went through the trouble of creating this project. So when it's complete, I can think, oh, this is evidence of the hard work that I've done. I also get a record of what I've learned and how I played it for future reference. Like, I've forgotten most of what I've learned on guitar in my life that I've been playing. And this approach, it allows me to build a library of my own learning instead of just having it disappear eventually. And lastly, I get the ability to self-critique, to look back at my playing and objectively see where I did good and where I need to work. And this point is often ignored by a lot of guitarists, but it's one of the most helpful ways of improving, to record yourself, either audio or video, so you can listen to yourself while you're not playing. So here's some possible project ideas, just some common stuff for, common guitar players. These don't have to be great quality. They just need to be a complete artifact. Like, you're just using your phone. If you have a phone, that'll allow you to make a project of good enough quality. So record a video playing along with the track, like I mentioned. That's a good project. Write and record an 8-bar melody using such and such scale. Like, let's say you're just working on the major scale. Instead of just drilling it like this, you can actually take that information and try to create something with it, instead of just the rote learning that you might commonly fall into. You could make a beat using Y chords or X chords or whatever. I've done this with, I saw this, I guess it was like a caged thing. These kind of drop two voicings. So I took these chords and I messed around with them and came up with a progression that I enjoyed, and I made a beat out of it, if you're into that style of music. You could write a song. Even beginners just learning, these open chords can take these chords, make their own strum pattern, put them in any order, compose a song, so to speak. You can make a chord chart of a song, like I mentioned, like a written component, which I would do if the chords in a piece that I'm learning are unusual for me, and I don't think I'll have an easy time remembering it. I'll write them down so I just have a record of it, instead of having to relearn it later. Or make a lead sheet of a song if I want to write the chords and add a melody below. And you can get creative with it too. You can do anything that's a concrete, tangible artifact. So here's an example. You can make a track with the chords from a piece of music that you like, but create a new melody. Or you could do the inverse. You could take a melody you like and put different chords under it. So projects force you, every time you come across something you want to learn, to ask yourself, what am I planning on doing with this? It's about action, not so much about just rote repetition over and over again. So I'm going to continue making videos on this idea of project-based guitar practice. This was kind of an overview, but I will go more in depth on each part of the process. So subscribe to this channel if you're interested in hearing more. And if you want to stay in touch directly, you can sign up for my email newsletter that comes out every Friday below. And thanks for your time.